Good evening and welcome to one of the other episode of Business Podcast. I am GS Kumar, for your host for today, LinkedIn marketing trainer and job hunt coach. Global Capability Centers, commonly referred to as GCCs, are strategic offshore units established by MNCs to drive core business functions. Over the last decade, India has emerged as a global hub for GCCs, offering a rich talent pool, cost efficiency, and innovation at scale. Today, we are privileged to have a distinguished leader, Mr. Suresh, who is an independent director, Global Capability Center Specialist. Happy to welcome Mr. Suresh.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Yeah. So, before getting into the core of GCC aspects, can you give a little brief about your introduction for what is the kind of a career you started, how you landed in this GCC vertical? Could you elaborate those things?
Okay. I have been in the IT industry in the core technologies for the last 30 plus years. And I started my career with the first GCC in India, that was Texas Instruments, way back in 1990. And that was the first company from another country to come to India and set up a GCC. And I continued to work with multiple GCCs, which included Hewlett Packard, Siemens, Novell, and also a few startups, which was into Apple AirPlay, which was into set-top boxes and IP streaming of videos, and some more of that. And then currently, I'm a partner in Wissen Technologies. Here we set up an exclusive global capability centers for our clients, and they have all the freedom to operate their capability center, and we assist them in the setup as well as growing the team, both technical team as well as the entire setup in terms of HR, legal, admin, finance, etc.
Oh, okay, that's great. For the audience, GCC might be a jargon. So, could you explain what exactly is this Global Capability Center and why India is a hotspot for them?
Yeah. See, Global Capability Center, as the term implies, first thing is it's global, right? And second is capability. Capability is in terms of your knowledge, technology, and ability to handle, what you call highly professional jobs, highly professional roles. You know, uh, GCC is not limited to software and technology alone. So it can even include other spheres like legal, accountancy, right? Chartered accountants or CPAs, or it could even be the medical field, right? Where medical transcription was one of the first things that started, but now the industry has grown beyond that.
Hmm.
So wherever very high level of technology is required, high level of knowledge, the people involved in this business or who are to be employed or to work here have to have a very deep knowledge in their particular vertical or particular domain. That's
Hmm.
where a GCC comes in. And why it is global is that, you should be able to, there are two ways of looking at it as a global. One thing is India is a base for all the companies across the globe. That's one way of looking at it. And the other way of looking at it is you can set up a GCC in all the countries or multiple countries in multiple regions, depending on the requirement. Maybe you need to address the customers in that specific region, maybe Europe, maybe Japan, maybe Korea, right? Or South America. And of course, North America is always there. United States and Canada is a de facto standard. So that is how you can look at GCC as.
Okay. So, comparing to other countries, why India seems to be a hotspot? Can you throw some light on why, specific to India, it is very special?
Yeah. See, what happens in India is we have a very large talent pool of highly educated people,
Okay.
right? You can get people at the bachelor's level, at the master's level, even at the PhD, and even postdoctoral as well. And the
Hmm.
numbers is not limited. It keeps growing, right?
Hmm.
If you were to look at engineering domain alone, we roughly have about 5 lakh engineers graduating at a bachelor's level every year, right?
Hmm.
And there's a significant percentage of it which goes at the master level, and there are a lot of PhDs also.
Hmm.
So that way, and even the number of chartered accountants or lawyers or number of doctors, the numbers are huge, I mean, compared to global standards.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And why India? Let me just put India into the context of the other countries in the globe. If you take, highly sophisticated people and highly educated people, you can find them in Europe and the United States, primarily the developed world.
Hmm.
And the last decade or so, a decade or two, China and Taiwan and Korea and Singapore have also come in. And of course, Japan is also there. It's a small country.
Hmm.
So the thing is, when it comes to Europe and the United States and Canada, though you get a lot of English-speaking people, the number of people, the population is small and the number of people graduating is low. And
Hmm.
also, uh, the emphasis that Indians give to education is very high compared to any culture anywhere in the world.
Correct.
So, any mother, any father want their son to be a doctor or a lawyer or a engineer or a chartered accountant. He
True.
will not
True.
be happy with a basic degree, no matter how much he earns. Earning is
True. True. True.
only part of it. But
Hmm.
high education, I mean, give emphasis on education is very high. So that
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
common inbuilt in the culture of this country. Okay.
Okay.
And while that is there in some of the other Asian countries like China or Taiwan, they have a language barrier. So they are not good
Hmm.
at English. And even those few people, a small percentage who can speak English, are
Hmm.
not conversant as Indians are,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So that way, India is kind of, if you draw a Venn diagram, India is at the center where you
Okay.
have all the combinations you require. You have the scale, you have English as a language, and also Indians also gel in any environment, in any culture. So they
Right.
don't tend to be aloof. So they don't form, their own ghettos.
Okay.
So that also helps. That's important in business. You
Hmm.
need
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
mix and match, and you should be very communicative, right? So all this is important. So that's where Indians is the best suited for a GCC.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's say a company, I mean, a foreign country wish to start some GCC in India. So what is the biggest hurdle they face? And as an independent director or as a GCC specialist, how do you resolve those elements and then make them comfortable to start GCC setup in India?
Right. See, any new venture, any new field that you want to enter always feels a little apprehensive to anybody. I'm
Hmm.
not talking about just GCC, anything in general. You go
Okay,
to a new town, you want to drive around, you'll not be comfortable. You know why?
correct.
Because you're new to that place.
Hmm. Hmm.
So similarly, India and the Indian business domain or the business environment is new to a company or an organization in some other part of the world, right? So that is one of the first things. First thing is they need to be educated
Hmm.
about what is happening here, the environment here, how you can, how to go about the business here, etc. So
Hmm.
that is a primary, what you call, hurdle that you need to cross. So for that, anybody who has interest in this, who wants to explore, I can give them a free consultation of a limited period of time. They can sit
Okay.
and talk and I can educate them.
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
first
Hmm.
thing. And second thing is, there's a lot of misinformation that happens very often,
Okay.
right? So when you're sitting far away, you only depend on, electronic medium for your information.
Correct.
right?
True.
Maybe TV news or some internet or some website or
Hmm.
someone talking about it, right?
Hmm.
All the issues, hurdles, what they face, etc. So
Hmm.
very often, the media has a tendency to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Correct.
That is how they sell media. Otherwise, they can't sell media. Otherwise,
Hmm.
why would we be interested in small, small issues or if everything is going hunky dory very well, right?
Correct. Correct.
That's that's the thing. So you need to be
Hmm.
aware, what is reality. So that's where
Hmm.
education comes in play.
Okay, okay, okay. So, I mean, first-hand information, honest information, you can give because somebody, I'm at US or I'm at Australia, but I want to start in India, but I don't know, what are the elements to cover up. So, therein, you come into picture, and then I can ask for a clarity check or possibility check, in order to move on further. Is it okay? Okay, great. So, in your past, you have scaled Vision Technology to more than 450 crore. That's a bigger number, and you have advised global firms. So, what exactly sparked your passion for GCC and business strategy?
Right. See, as most people know, I mean, India has been in the services IT industry for like 3 to 4 decades now, right? In the
Hmm.
late 80s, they started. And the card they played was the cost arbitrage, right? It was much cheaper to find resources here
Hmm.
than elsewhere in the world. And that, what you call that leverage has been taken for too long. It is the fourth decade, right? We are trying to push the same cost arbitrage. Cost arbitrage is there, but scale is the real key, and quality of the people is the real key, right? So what we did at Vision was we focused on quality rather than cost arbitrage, right?
Okay.
So typically, the existing GCCs in India are always the paymasters. So they pay the
Hmm.
highest in salary levels to anybody. Whereas services industry, since they have to look at cost arbitrage, they pay less and they get the job done. And of course, the quality of the personnel is also less. And of course, there's also jobs which is less, which requires less qualified people also,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So what we did at Vision was right from the day one. It was in 2004, in September, October, November time frame, when me and my couple of other partners who started, we decided we will not go out of after cost. We will confidently go to the client and say, we are going to charge you 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times of which a
Hmm.
typical
Hmm. Hmm.
services company will charge you.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
But we will give you the quality. You try us out with the first few people.
Okay.
If you are happy, we can continue. If you're not happy, you can always terminate, right?
Okay. Very,
Or you
very
can absorb the
straightforward
people
business
into
deal.
your.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry?
Very, very straightforward business
Yes,
deal, not here and there, looking at back and forth.
yes.
Ha ha.
And also we said you can convert them into your employees. We will
Right,
let them go.
right,
So
right.
that gave them, what do you call? That gave them the confidence. Okay, let me
Confidence.
try. Even if it
Hmm,
goes
hmm,
wrong, there's nothing going to go bad.
hmm, hmm,
So they
hmm.
started, and then the first two, three, four, five people joined in,
Okay.
and then they saw, wow, these candidates are good, right?
Hmm, hmm,
And also, what happened was typically when any services company gives them people, they also do their interviews,
hmm,
and their shortlisting rates were something like for every 10 people, they used to be able to shortlist only one or two guys. Whereas
hmm.
when we gave them out of every like 10 guys, they could easily shortlist 8 of them or 9 of them,
Wow. Okay,
right?
okay.
So that is the kind of quality we did. And we made sure that we paid, we did not cringe to pay salaries. We paid very high salaries.
Hmm, hmm,
Salary
hmm.
was never, what you call a bottleneck.
Okay.
But we went through a series of tests and series of interviews internally,
Hmm.
and we made sure that the candidate we present to the client is the best. And
Okay.
they saw that, and it was saving a lot of time for them. They got the best candidates, the best people they want, the best qualified people they wanted. And
Mm-hmm.
slowly, within 1 or 2, within the first year, one department in the client was, became comfortable, and then they referred to another department, and it went on growing. And then
Okay.
we went to a new client, and we referred this old client here. So
Mm-hmm.
that way we grew, and now we are like 1,500 people company,
Mm-hmm.
right? All very highly qualified, and then we work on patent quality technologies and cutting edge technologies. So
Okay.
that's it for me.
My God, I mean that's huge scale and which you're operating. So what I'm trying to translate is like you provide resources to set up the whole capability center, but I want to more dive into like what role exactly you play because this is resource supplying is may not be the only vertical element of it. There might be multiple vertical you might be handling. So what exactly is the role where you have created an impact in Vision Technology?
Uh, Let me correct this a little bit. It was not supplying personnel here. I
Okay.
just told how the people are getting sealed to be to get the finest ones, right?
Okay.
So what we did was, what we also do is we make sure that we get people in particular domain. For example, banking domain, right? If our
Hmm.
client comes from a banking domain, we make sure that the people working will come from banking domain background. So the domain expertise comes. Not only the domain expertise, even the verticals, they also have some kind of a corporate culture which is different for banking to manufacturing to retail, etc. So we made sure that they come from the relevant verticals, and we put in the full teams in place, right? And then we also set up our offices with exclusive setup where they have controlled access, security, security control. Only people who are eligible, I mean, who are working on their projects and their this thing, they come and they can enter that space. So including firewalls and VPNs and all of that stuff. So that
Hmm.
this was an exclusive setup, physical setup, infrastructure, what you call tech infrastructure, the cloud and the war securities, the tech security, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
All of that we provided, and we help people. They put up full teams, and we have some teams sometimes working as large as 60, 70 people on one single project.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
some of them, they will have a product manager or a business analyst from the client's end to decide to define what requirements they have. So that's how we have worked.
Okay, okay, okay. So looking at your career back in the on the other streams as well, I think you played a very key role in setting up the first GCCs of companies, very premium companies like HP, Siemens, and multiple other things. So when it comes to first and with the very premium companies, what exactly has been done, and what was their expectations from you to set up this kind of thing? So can you elaborate on those aspects?
Yeah. Let me take the example in digital HP. So there
Hmm.
was a company called DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation, which was acquired ultimately by HP. And now
Hmm.
it's all part of HP. Okay. What we did was at that time, this was in 1996. Uh, digital the engineer in the 90s, a lot of companies started exploring India.
Hmm.
So TI was the first one. Then came Motorola. Then came Verizon, no, Verifone,
Hmm.
and then HP also came in. Compact came in. So one after the other, they started coming in. Every year, you used to hear two or three names
Right.
which were coming up in the headlines of the newspaper, right? So what we did was they wanted to set up a center here. So what they said, we will of course we will give you the first one project, which will have about like three people. Okay,
Okay.
said yes, fine. The that work was going on in Ireland and the United States, in Massachusetts to be specific, precise.
Hmm.
And then we spent time a few weeks and a month or two with the teams in these places. We took the technology transfer, and then we came back here, and they wanted another 5 or 6 people more. So we added all of those people, and then slowly we transitioned the work. over a period of 6 to 9 months, and maybe by the end of 1 year, we were all fully established. So we
Mm-hmm.
did that for the first project, and then the second year we took another suite of five or six projects,
Mm-hmm.
and that also we took in 1.5 year. We again migrated the entire team here. So the team included developers, L1 support, L2 support, product managers, right? And we also had a couple of people to talk, to interface and interact with the clients. When I say clients, the non-technical aspect, what we call as PR, relationship management.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired them, and then I myself played the role of product manager. And in the process, within 2.5 to 3 years' time, we had taken over the entire engineering and entire product development into Bangalore, right? And supported uh, 70, 80 clients across 40 plus countries, or maybe even 50
Mm-hmm.
countries. And
Mm-hmm.
all these clients, 70, 80% of them were like, all of them are Fortune 500 companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the others were not small. They were
Okay.
government bodies, like, the
Okay.
government of UK or Australia, right? Ireland or New Wales, or Scotland, New Zealand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these were the different departments in the government were our clients. And by the way, Swift was one of our clients. So
Okay.
Swift was running our product in the core of the transactions, whatever
Mm-hmm.
forex transaction that Swift does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did that, and then other than L1 support, which was local, which was specific to the local language, etc., everything else was here, and we used to just get X million dollars every year as a budget, and we used to handle it completely independently from Bangalore. It was a very big success. We won several awards, right?
Wow.
And this became a showcase for many other companies to try. In those
Mm-hmm.
days, people used to hire only software engineers,
Right.
and even an architect used to be a senior software engineer used to be from the US office or the UK office.
Mm.
But here, no, architects, senior, junior, product managers, program managers, project managers, project leads, everything was here in Bangalore. So we built up almost 100 people team.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, looks like pulling out talent or sourcing these kind of profiles is a very core element of your this project. So, how do you tap talent for this kind of things? Because India, as you said, like there are huge talent potential available, but how do you pick up the cream layer of these kind of resources, especially working like HP and Siemens? They would like to have very creamy like tech graduates, so or even other senior profiles. So how do you tap those kind of talents actually?
Okay. See, one important thing in technology industry, okay, other than the salary I'm talking about, other than the money part, which is obvious, right? The
Hmm.
more money you give, the better guys come.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other than this part, what a person, a techie wants is something that matches his capability, his
Okay.
intellectual prowess.
Hmm.
If he is given a stupid job, he will not like it,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? He will work for some time, will quit and go, right?
Okay. Okay.
And the challenge has to be there in the job. That's point number one. And the second important aspect for a techie is that he always believes there's always someone else who is much better than him. That's a
Okay.
belief. Maybe he's the best, but still he believes that,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And he wants that guidance. He wants to grow in the knowledge, in technology, right? So he looks for mentorship,
Okay.
right? Whether starting from plain vanilla training to someone who will guide him what to do, what not to do, what is right, what is wrong, or how to build a better software,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right? So that has to be there. So the senior people has to understand their domain, their project, their team, etc. very well, and then they have to guide them well. And the senior guys have to interface with the parent organization in the US or Australia or UK or wherever they are, or Germany, and talk to them, spend time with them, understand them well, and try to get the domain knowledge. If you
Mm,
simply stick, say, I know Java, I know Python, I know Angular, that is not sufficient. That will
mm,
only take
mm.
you to a certain extent. You need to know
Right.
more than that,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm,
So there's a very old, story which most of them know. The question is, you need to under whether when you, let's say you're building a wall, right?
mm, mm,
Are you laying the bricks? Are you mixing the cement? Are
mm.
you constructing a wall? Or are you constructing a temple? What is
Okay.
in your mind? If you say you're constructing a temple in your mind, you'll
Mm.
obviously be able to build the best structure, right?
Right. Mm, mm, mm.
So you need to understand the temple part of the story. If you don't understand the temple part of the story, if you still
Okay.
think it's a brick and a wall and a mortar,
Mm,
and then you will, if that is like say Java, Python,
mm,
so on
mm,
and so
mm.
forth.
So the mindset, motivation, all always is aligned to what is the goal which you are trying to achieve, and he should have a individual passion to build something, innovative products. Because a lot of people I hear that okay, I'm in a very stereotype projects. There is no growth beyond that. These is the kind of stories I hear from mid-career people. Now I think this makes sense where you open up some projects which has some innovative methods, upskilling. Challenges them with the technical aspects, all those things. I think that makes a huge differentiation in GCC. Fine. So now
Yes.
my question is related to the same level of alignment where a couple of people or client could have felt like um, India is maybe too complex or talent may not stay for a very long time. The stability is not there. They keep jumping for salaries. Do you face those kind of issues and during your project discovery call or something, or whether you are able to convince those people in terms of these kind of questions?
Okay. See, in technology industry, you need two category of people. Okay.
Hmm.
One who is very strong in domain knowledge.
Okay.
Let's say you are into banking or you are into retail. You need to understand the retail markets very well. You need to understand the banking very well. So these kind of people need to stick to the company.
Okay.
Okay. Their long-term sticking, even sticking for a decade or two, is very, very important.
Decade
Right?
or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even 3 decades also. There are people who stick to the company for even 3 decades. In fact,
Okay.
the first guys I told you who were hired in HP in 1997, 98 are still working in HP today.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so I'm still in touch with them, so I know what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the second set of people who are actually the people who build the software, right? It could be a junior software engineer, senior software engineer, an architect or a
Hmm.
lead or a program
Hmm.
programmer. Those kind of people, in the initial stages of developing a product or a project, you need a lot of people,
Hmm.
right? And once the project is completed and the first version is released, so the manpower requirement comes down, right?
Okay.
And then the second version, after the second version, in the third version, the fourth version, the manpower requirement goes down even further and further and further.
Okay.
And at the later releases, there will not be not a whole lot of new code or new set of functionality and features you add. So the
Hmm.
guys who work in the first version, first couple of versions, will not be happy with the next set of versions. So
Oh,
either you move them to another project where it has a similar requirement, or
okay.
they will move out. Okay.
Oh.
So ultimately, what happens is they tend to become white elephants in the organization. We don't want
Hmm.
white
Hmm.
elephants in
Hmm.
the organization, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so what happens is this attrition in the technology industry is not necessarily an India-specific phenomenon. This is a
Okay.
global phenomenon.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. But of course, you will get to that conversation with your client during discovery call or in
Yeah.
project setup.
So yeah. So what happens is, and also technology keeps marching from one this thing to another one, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So when we mass technology, you need new people.
Hmm.
So that kind of a churn is also healthy to a good extent. And if
Okay.
you're a paymaster in the industry, they will not leave you,
Not okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
They will leave you only when someone else is paying them much higher.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And certain amount of attrition is also important. Some even the guys are good, the project is good,
Hmm.
technology is relevant, the minds get jaded in the particular companies.
Hmm,
that
hmm, hmm.
environment. But shading is what we need to, is also not a good factor.